Yes, it is. The king is gone. Long wave the king farewell, as one of the biggest fast food chains around the globe has decided to trade the land of palm trees, they're based in South Florida, for the land of loyal Tim Horton coffee drinkers, Canadian rules football, and yes, something about that lower tax rate might just walk into the equation. Is this the tax inversion special order that will force the U.S. government to finally change a wretched tax code? Let's all make sense of it all. Welcome in Chairman of the Society to Advance Financial Education, Steve Beaman. Steve, always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Well, always thanks for having me back. It's great to be on.
So here we go. Is this the final nail? I mean, only because we've seen other companies leave and go overseas before. But this is Burger King, man. This is Americana leaving for Canada. This might actually catch somebody's attention.
Well, I hope that folks will first learn to throw out the emotion with the facts. Let's take a look. Number one, Burger King's not the only company that's owned by foreign nationals. 7-Eleven, that iconic brand, as well as Budweiser, are owned by foreign companies. So this isn't that unique. Number two, the fact of the matter is Burger King sales are at least 50% overseas. That is to say, only about half their revenues come from the United States. And by adding Tim Hortons in Canada, that will really tilt their business to a global business. So it's a good business move for them, number one. The tax inversion thing that's going on isn't going to be as material to this decision from Burger King's perspective as people might think. When you combine the tax rates of Florida and the United States, together with Ontario and the nation of Canada, there's not all that much difference. It may save a few million for the company, but that's not why they're doing this. They're doing it much more for the synergy of the two brands.
Is it not also fair to say that what we have here is youth understanding a little bit about money? And I point that out because the CEO of Burger King is a guy named Daniel Schwartz. He is 34 years of age. He's 34 and the CEO of Burger King, but this is a guy who's smart. He understands business. And don't you think that it's a younger generation now that says we need to take advantage of all these things? And really, we're not going to worry so much about America. It's still about stockholders at the end of the day.
It is ultimately about shareholder value, which is why Warren Buffett has put money into this deal. This is good for the shareholders. And I think truly for the politicians to make noise about this is akin to them saying to the American homeowner, if you take your mortgage deduction, you're not patriotic. This is a legal process. It's in the tax code. The government put it there. We can't blame American businesses for trying to increase shareholder value. And to your point, the younger generation sees a global economy much more than just a U.S. economy. And this young guy, I'm not sure he's so young or I'm just getting old. But I think to your point, he is very smart and he looks at the best value for his shareholders.
Is that simply, and you just brought up a great point that a lot of people might be missing here. Are we talking more about these companies are looking at global effect or the American taxes? Because you do know that the media will come out, the economists will come out and say this is all about getting away from America. But is that really the case for a lot of these companies?
It's absolutely not. In this case particularly, Tim Hortons is a very well-known breakfast brand in Canada. They have a strong coffee franchise. They're not the top tier like Starbucks, but they're very strong, and that is a high-margin business. When you look at Burger King or McDonald's or the other fast food companies, there's not a lot of growth to be had in the United States. They have to look abroad. And so this is a natural synergistic merger. It's very good. And look at the stock prices. I think Burger King's up 30%, Tim Hortons up 20%. This is good for the shareholders, and that's the bottom line. This wasn't done to evade taxes. If they wanted to do that, they'd have gone to a tax-free nation, and there are plenty of those around. But they did it because of the synergy of the breakfast brand of Tim Hortons with the afternoon dinner brand of Burger King.
I also want you to hear now a moment. This is David Henkes, the vice president at Technomic, He talks about here the tax inversion issue. He says that this will be the issue. People will talk about this issue, all tax inversion, but he backs up exactly what you've just said here. This just makes good business sense. Here it is.
There's sort of the business case to be made for it, and the business case is strong. I mean, there's no question that there's a lot of tax savings to be made. Each person's going to have their own opinion as to whether it's right or wrong. I think from a business perspective, though, it obviously makes a lot of sense.
Are we not also missing the point here that despite the fact that Burger King does move to Canada, and it probably will happen here, that they are still employing a tremendous amount of people in America, and that still affects American taxpayers, affects the American workforce? It's not as if they're leaving and taking all their money and their burgers and their people with them.
Not at all. In fact, American shareholders in this company are going to benefit from this, and that's the retirement plans that people have, the pension plans of the states and local governments. So the shareholders benefit from this. And in terms of employment, the administrative overhead at a company like Burger King is not the major part of that business. The bulk of it is the franchise operation, and that all stays in place. It's just not growing, and Burger King needs to see growth for its shareholders, who are, again, many of the American people.
All right, now here's something else I need you to comment on. Here's U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown out of Ohio, the Democrat there. You know where I'm going on this already. I have a feeling here. He's a member of the Senate Finance Committee, senior member of the Senate Banking Committee. He said, and I quote, "Creating a global minimum tax rate will increase investment in the United States, raise revenue, and prevent a global race to the bottom." We can't even quite figure out what the colors of the towels are in the congressional washroom. How can anybody actually believe that we can get the globe to agree on a tax rate?
Well, Sherrod Brown joins Dick Durbin and the Levin brothers in Michigan is just making a big stink about this. Now, Republicans do it too. They always pick a topic of the day and they say, wow, we can, get a lot of press about this. Sherrod Brown's doing typical political speak on this. Nothing's going to happen there. To your point, there's no way we're going to coordinate a global tax. And the fact of the matter is, this isn't being done for tax rates. It's done for business reasons and growth reasons. The reality is global growth is coming from outside of the United States today, and companies have to adapt to that. Otherwise, there will be no shareholder value for American investors.
Then what will it take? I got about a minute left to close this loophole that everybody talks about, and the various loopholes that will keep companies from taking advantage of situations such as this.
Well, I think we need to make America competitive. We need to reduce the regulatory burden on companies. We need certainly to reduce the corporate tax rate, because the fact is companies don't pay taxes anyway, customers do. And if we do those two things, then we will see American companies generate more growth internally, and they won't be as motivated to move overseas. Now, with that said, there is a globe in terms of the economy we participate in, and people shouldn't be naive to that. They should accept the fact that growth will come out of Africa, Asia, other parts of the world, and we need to be positioned to accept that for our shareholders.
Any chance in the next 5 years we'll see that loophole closed?
No. This was done for political favors. It's going to stay in place, so it gives them something to talk about.
All right, see, there you go. Now, that just 5 years. Let's put this to bed once and for all. We'll come back. We'll look at it again in 5 years. That might be the easiest way to do it. Steve Beaman, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, next hour on MidPoint, the commercial appeal of the Koch brothers. And after the break, the worldwide leader in sports believes you need to care about how and when NFL players shower together. It's my commentary and telling it like it is. It's coming up right here on MidPoint.